I'm Judy from 50 Minutes of Fear. And if you guys know me, you know I love a holiday. And I'm here today talking to Michael Jayne about his new movie about the holiday Arbor Day. Hey, Michael, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
We really appreciate you being here today. So, first and foremost, let's have a chat. Tell me about you and tell me about Arbor Day.
Well, my name is Michael Jayne. I am in southern New Jersey, specifically Mays Landing, just outside of Atlantic City. And Arbor Day of the Root of Evil is our foyer into horror slasher anthologies.
Yeah.
And this was born because May of last year in 2025, I had a stroke.
Oh, gosh.
And and I had put my film career on hold for about 10 years after our movie Zcon we had somebody steal a lot of money from it, which caused the production to stop.
Oh, wow.
So I wanted to take some time to pay everybody back and make sure that was good. And that took about 10 years.
Sure.
So then I have a stroke, and then my business partner, Logan, who is actually the arborist in the picture behind you.
Go,
Um,
Logan.
and we were looking at stuff that I could do to help. I'm one of those people that needs a goal. Like I need
Yeah.
something to look forward to. Uh, I wish I would have thought about bringing a drink. Damn it.
Do you want
Um,
to pause for a drink? We can
no,
pause for a drink. Our
no, 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 no,
our
no.
our fans get it, man.
I'm
It's
okay.
we can pause
Uh,
for a drink.
oh no, for me to pause, I have to go down 2 floors, make an
Oh
old
gosh.
fashioned, come back
Nope.
up. We're good.
Okay. I'll have one
Um,
for you.
I please do. So
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 Logan,
anyway,
go Logan.
so yeah. So when you're going through physical therapy and speech
Yeah.
therapy for a stroke, they only get you to about like grade 9. And I needed more because my
Yeah.
day job is marketing. Like I
Okay.
dealt with the vendors, I designed, I worked with a team. So we were looking at like I got being stuck on the couch for a lot. Like I'm watching Tubi and I'm watching these Bigfoot documentaries, and they're just terrible. It's just a
Okay.
guy on a couch with a bunch of AI, Bigfoot stuff, and we're like, we could do that. Like even in a stroke, I could do that. So we looked at all the weird stuff that goes on in New Jersey, which New Jersey is a pretty weird state.
It's a
Like
great
we have,
state. It's a
oh, I
great
love it.
state. We love it for the spooky. We love it for this. We love the Jersey Devil. We love the
So
haunted houses. We love
yeah,
it all. Go
absolutely.
Jersey. Give me a
Yeah,
devil
and
any day of the week. So tell me what
100%.
inspired you because it's a spooky state. It
so
is.
that's what we were looking at. We're like,
Yeah,
okay, like I live in Mays Landing where we have the Abbott House, which is like one of the haunted houses in New Jersey. And that's literally a quarter mile from my house. I could
that's
walk there
awesome.
every day. And then we have stuff like in Mays Landing until 1906, they had a public hanging tree for executions. And I'm only like 10 minutes away from Leeds, where the Jersey Devil originated from. And as we were looking into these, we're like, well, why don't we just do Jersey? Then why don't we just do Mays Landing? Then why don't we just create one?
Yeah,
Because in my brain, I'm like, North Jersey has Jason Voorhees,
yeah.
right? Because for those that don't know geographically, Camp Nobibasku, which is the source of the filming for Friday the 13th, is way north. It's closer to New York than it is Philadelphia. So there's really not much outside of the Jersey Devil down here and haunted houses. So we're like, all right. So then we made up this character, and then we're like, well, what holiday doesn't have a horror movie yet? And we looked at Columbus Day, and we looked at all of those days, and we kind of nailed on Arbor Day
Yeah.
because Logan and I both worked for National Wildlife Federation a long time ago, and we're like, that's just funny. Like we
It's
just thought it would be great.
Oh, it's
Um,
delightful. And it looks,
and,
I'm shocked at how good it looks, the visual of Arbor Day, because it's just such a funny word. It's like, yikes,
yeah.
what is that about? It works.
So
I love it.
yeah, so we go through making this, and we don't find out until filming that in 1991 there was an Arbor Day movie, which tonally is completely different from like that is way more camp than this is. Um, but this is not connected, which is why we added the root of evil at the bottom of
Yeah. And I'll tell you, I love a catchphrase. I do. I love it. I love a catchphrase. I was all in when I saw Root of Evil, I was like, I like that. That's fun. That would look so great on a shirt. I
it.
love
So
it.
so
Yeah.
yeah, we met at Chiller, and some guy ran up to me. He's like, "I saw your letterboxed, and I'm quoting the phrase." I'm like, "Oh, I'm because I'm, as a marketing person and just as a person in general, like I love kitschy, like I love
Yeah.
memorable.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's why it's it is the way it is. Uh, so knowing that I'm recovering from a stroke, we filmed this 5 months after me, like literally 5 months, almost to the day of me having a stroke.
Okay.
And the way we did it, because I didn't have the energy to do a feature, is that we treated it like 6 48-hour film festivals back to back.
Yeah.
Each director had to write and direct something, including myself, that they could do in a day.
Yeah.
Um, so going through, we have a feature length film, which is
Yeah.
amazing. It's 79 minutes. Every story kind of is cohesive.
Yeah.
Uh, but now we have the arborist who looks scary as hell.
I love it. I love the visual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Uh,
love it.
and we have now a framework.
Yeah.
We've already planned Arbor Day 2, Arbor Day 3. Um,
I
and the
can't wait.
premise and the premise is that, like, in Arbor Day, The Root of Evil, we have Brooke Malkins and Carrie Lyons, who are first time filmmakers, who are first time, you know, screenwriters for an anthology. And what we want to use Arbor Day movies going forward is a chance for like indie up and coming people or
Yeah.
people who've never had an experience,
Yeah.
to come in and basically do the same thing we did, which is like take a day to write and direct something that's a short. I will write the wraparound, which
Yeah.
kind of brings everything together.
Yeah.
Um, and then surprise, I add the sixth story at the end because, in true horror fashion, the people getting the warning about the scary place never listen to the warning about the scary place.
Right. Right.
Uh, so that's
I
that's Arbor Day, the story of Arbor Day, the Root of Evil.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I love, first of all, I love an anthology. I
Thank
love
you.
the concept of working with different directors. I think that's always so like it's enriching. It's an enriching project. I think it's great. I did love your sort of opening foray into the film where it's like, well, I'll help you out, son, but you got to listen to a couple of stories first, right? So
Yep.
that's right. And that's the situation. So I think that it's really a very effective way to approach a new villain. And I'm curious to see how this villain grows because when I talked to Dominic about this a lot, like the longevity of characters, right? Because we have our
Yeah.
favorites and you can do anything. And I was talking to a writer friend of mine, and he actually, I'll give him a little bit of a shout out. It's Frank DiStefano, and he writes the Dark Legend series. And his character is a samurai. He's an eternal samurai, and he was giving me some teasers on his books 4 and 5, and I said, yeah, that's the gratification of having a movable character. So
Yeah.
you have now the arborist who
Hmm.
can go into these different things, and you're also giving your content team so much freedom by saying, you make the story, you tell me what I'm scared of, you come up with the concept and show me what it looks like. So how was it working with different teams and coordinating all that?
Yeah. So one of the things, I love a good anthology, but I also grew up on, the Tales from the Crypt and Creep Show movies where there was like a good production value and an overarching connective of stories, right? And an overarching connecting look.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to bash people with their anthologies at all, but like
No.
one of the things I could see from like first time filmmakers is that anthologies tend to be like, I made a bunch of shorts, now I want to put them together. And you could see
Yeah.
different like levels of expertise going through.
Yeah.
So the way we did it is that we had the same cinematographer, same crew, same makeup.
Wow. Wow.
Um, all the director had to do was show up, uh, be prepared, bring some extra props if we didn't have them, and everything is consistent. Now each one has its own feel, each one has its own like score, because but we have the same composer all the way through, so there's a consistent kind of motif.
Oh, wow.
Um, but yeah, that's the big thing is that we early on it was okay. Look, you can have up to 4 people, not include like, and then 5 when you include the arborist. Um, everybody has to die unless you have a really good reason for why they live, right? Because it's
Okay.
our
I like it. I like it.
um, so we do have one survivor, but this isn't the final girl. So
Okay.
like, there's no final girl. It just happens to be like one survivor of the story.
Because it made
Uh,
sense.
Well, because it made sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's honestly our most emotionally impactful story. You'll see it. It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Um, so it kind of you get it. Uh, and if you don't get it, that's what the sequel's for. So
More to come,
uh,
folks. More to come.
yeah, but
Yeah.
the the way that the movie is structured is that we call him the driver because the guy doesn't have a name. The guy that's trying to get in, that's getting told the stories, he's the audience's point of view.
Yeah.
So in between each story, like he acknowledges whether it's a little funny or a silly idea, or
Yeah.
maybe we've seen this before. Um, so it's the audience gets to stay with the movie the whole time until the end. And we have a big surprise at the ending where we're not telling anybody. Uh, and it is literally when we did our premiere, we got an audible oh shit moment.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. And so let me ask you, because I do, I have a background, I've studied the arts, I've studied philosophy and stuff. So that reads very much to me like maybe a Greek uh situation where you have the audience, or like you have the theater, like it's sort of horror. I love horror films because I feel like sometimes they do fall into very classic stories, like the hero, the villain, the audience. I do love this genre for that, because it sounds very much like, oh, that is your audience, that is, what you're presenting to, and they're sort of your conscience, and they're telling you what's going on. And then when you come through the story, I love that idea of, you can have someone say, I'm not buying this, or I'm not buying, or, oh, hey, that was scary, and yikes, maybe I'll lock my door. So I love that idea that you allow one of the characters to take a step out and sort of comment for all of us sitting in the seats, and to say,
Yeah.
hey, what do we think about this? Right? Because I love the action, and I love all that stuff, and I love a villain, but I also love that the intellectual processing of what's happening. So that's an interesting concept. Like, how did you come to that point? Or is it just kind of like what you like to read? Because I like the classics and I think they read well. And I like seeing the classics translated into modern day.
I love the classics.
Yeah,
But I also love like, and I say this all the time to Logan, I don't want to wait. If somebody's going to invest buying a ticket to our movie, I don't want to waste their time.
right,
I
right.
like the I just saw the movie last night. Like I paid for my own ticket to see it at Smod Castle for its final day of the theatrical run.
Yeah,
And there was a couple,
congratulations.
thank you.
You're
Uh,
welcome.
there was a couple there who just randomly found the movie on the Smod Castle site and was looking for a Thursday date, because Smod Castle has this deal on Thursdays where it's dinner and a movie, a local restaurant. You go get your restaurant dinner at a local restaurant and then come over for a discounted movie. So that's what they did. And at the end, she's just like, I wasn't bored. It was
Yeah,
like 79 minutes went so quick and I felt engaged, and I like that
yeah,
was what I was really going for. And honestly, the Greek tragedy part of it is kind of accurate, because we have our narrator who's
right.
trying to convince this guy not to show up,
Yeah,
and then realizes that like he tried,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
we all know, like if we follow horror tropes, we all know what's going to happen, and he knows what's going to happen, but he at least made like a hero's effort.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot to that, and I think that actually resonates with people, because I know, again, like, the reason I love this genre is because I put myself in the seat of the movie and the movie characters, and I'm like, okay, well, clearly I can get out of that situation myself, because this is what I've learned from the movie, and you
Yeah.
take all that with you. But I think another interesting thing, and Dominic and I were talking about this together, Tay, too, is the legend, right? And the legend of the characters, because most
Mhm.
good horror films, in my opinion, will give you the rules, right? They'll give you the rules, they'll tell you the legend. And I know that there was like I don't know how right I am about this, but I think I'm always right. But there was sort of this concept, which was really beautiful in filmmaking in the late 90s into the early 2000s, where the opening credits would give you the legend. And the one I'm thinking about specific, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? And it was
Yeah.
a beautiful way to introduce characters. And that brings back our angel baby artists and all the great media stuff, because what I'm thinking of is Tooth Fairy, where Tooth Fairy opens up so beautifully. And if you guys haven't seen it, watch it. It's a great film. And they page through the old articles telling you the legend of the old woman who ultimately becomes the villain, the Tooth Fairy in that film. And I love that. So do we get a legend experience? Like, do we understand as we're going through, and don't ruin it for us, but like, do we like that concept? Is that something we can look for in Arbor Day?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
So, and then uh, I'm not going to spoil this. It's not really spoiling anything because we explain in the description of the movie that this guy's exploring urban legends and finds one he doesn't believe. So the opening is just that. Like we use that opening sequence where he's driving from, North Jersey to South Jersey to Mays Landing in real time. Um, and you're hearing the podcast he's listening to telling you the story of why we're getting into what we're getting into. And it starts with you know, this fictitious podcast before is all about, horror in New Jersey. So he's like in episode 72 and 73, we talked about how Hollywood comes to Jersey for Smile, for this, for that. We mentioned the towns, even Tom's River, where the actual Amityville house that they used for filming is. Not the actual Amityville house that it's
Yeah,
based off
that's
of,
down the
but the one
block
they
from
used.
me.
Yeah. So the one that they used for filming is like, half hour from my house. So we go through that, and then we kind of go through some of the Jersey lore that the characters listened to in the past, like,
Yeah.
Hoppy or the Jersey Devil or
Yeah.
stuff like that. And then we use the last bit to explain our bad guy and set up the rules
I love that.
that every Arbor Day, this guy comes back to this area, and anybody that's there, he just kills them without prejudice.
So brutal.
Yeah.
It's so
Um,
brutal.
and the rules of the movie are simple. Don't go in the woods on Arbor Day. And that's it. Like,
That's it.
but of course, everybody's
Stay
going
on
to
the
ignore
path.
that. Yeah.
Stay on the path. Don't feed the gremlins after 12, right? It's all
Yeah.
these great rules that we just somehow have to break, right?
Yeah. And honestly, the ones that I love the most, like you just mentioned, gremlins, like don't feed them after midnight and don't get them wet. Two super simple rules.
Simple,
And ours
easy,
are the same. Like don't
easy.
go in the woods on Arbor
Don't go
Day.
in the woods.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that. And I think also what makes it fun is stuff like that because, as an audience member and just myself in the world, I like to think I'm smarter than the average bear. So I'm like, well, I wouldn't fall for that. I wouldn't fall for that. Well, when we see how our people in our film get stuck in these situations, it's like, oh, that didn't work out. And I kind of love
Mhm.
that whole concept. And I do think, Jersey is a magical, I mean, it's the Garden State. Jersey's a great
Yeah.
state. It's the Garden State. It's a beautiful state, but I do love that. So I guess my other question for you is why horror? Like, why do you like horror? Right? Because I know why I do. And we're gonna, we are 50 Minutes of Fear, and our whole concept is we'll watch a film and we'll give our opinion. We'll say, was that fear worthy? Was that a fearful thing? And we've tweaked it for creepy and like foreboding and ick factor.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
why did you find yourself in this space?
Uh I have always been the person, that has loved I love a little bit of horror.
Oh,
I love a little bit of scary. Um, I was small and my stepfather was watching the VHS of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And one of my first horror memories is him going, "Hey, come downstairs. I want to show you this movie about Texas."
okay.
And I came downstairs right at the moment where Leatherface is hacking the guy up in the wheelchair.
That's
And
bad. That's a bad scene.
yeah, and
That's a bad scene.
he's laughing, and apparently I jumped over the couch. Like I just went and hid behind. But I also have a really curious nature. So like I wanted to understand like the thing that I'm watching.
Yeah.
And when it got explained to me that this is just pretend, this is just people, pretending to do these things
Yeah.
and learning about that, like horror became less scary,
Yeah.
right? And then I really got into like EC Comics and uh Tales from the Crypt, and I have probably every Stephen King book out there. Like I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So when it came time to making this kind of a movie, um, it wasn't so much that horror was the genre we wanted to go into, but it was this character kind of needed that,
Yeah.
like we could have done this like super happy, like Arbor Day is great, like whatever. But there's this one of two kind of camps that you can go into, which is if you go watch the original 1991 Arbor Day, that's super campy. Like that's right up there. If you love Trauma, like that is great. And there's nothing wrong with it because I have every damn Trauma movie
The
on VHS
best.
and
Yeah, the
DVD.
best.
And Uncle Lloyd can do no wrong, in my opinion. And then you have what we wanted to do, which was if you think about these dates, none of them should be scary. Friday the 13th, Halloween, but they become that because we have Jason, because we have Michael Myers, because we have something that makes the holiday actually worthwhile to be scary. And Silent Night, Deadly Night. Like those are the things that we were thinking about and why horror became really the tone of what this is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I don't want a rom-com Arbor Day. I'm not saying I don't want to see that, but I think, for a jumping off point, it makes sense. No, but you've mentioned the classics, right? So you've mentioned, Silent
Yeah.
Night, Deadly Night, and it is a situation where there's that famous sort of comment about Halloween where they were going to call it the Babysitter's Massacre. And I'm
Right.
like, don't call it that. And they didn't, and it worked, and it works forever. It's actually one of my favorite films. So to set
Same.
the tone, yeah, it's a brilliant film, and it's a simple film, and it's a great story. So when you now think about like, what is your background in? Because to go into film is very, I know, and you don't have to tell me if you don't want to, but like this is
No,
like,
I'm going to.
yeah, tell me all about it.
um,
I
so,
demand it.
oh, please, thank you. Well, now you're going to get it.
Well,
Uh,
great. I'll get another drink. You can't stop me. I
that's
got a lot of what is this, digital? I got nowhere to be.
we got tons of time, and
That's
I'll
fine.
talk all day. So I fell into film kind of by accident, but anybody that like it's interesting to me. um, I got into film late. Like I was 33 when I got into filmmaking. But my friends that grew up with me, they're like, yeah, we knew this is where you were going. Like, because I was the kid making comic books and writing stories and all of that stuff in school and drawing. So they're like, we're not surprised. But my first film is actually right behind me. It is a feature-length fan film called Browncoat's Redemption, which
Yeah.
is based off of the Firefly world. And we got
Is it
Joss
really?
Whedon. Yeah, we got Joss Whedon's permission, and the
That's
studio.
your film?
That's my film.
I saw, okay, sorry. I saw the credit and I didn't put it together. Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah. So as the story goes, back in 2008, I worked for myself, and on Fridays I would just go to Starbucks. Like I had a routine. Like I would sit in my office for 4 days a week, and then one day a week I would just go sit in Starbucks, just to make it different. And then it became like Cheers, and that's how you and I can tell, our age group, because I just say the word and you know what I mean. But for those that don't know, in Cheers, like the theme song sets up everything. It's where everybody knows your name. So I'd go in and people would be like, "Hey, Mike," and I'd say, "Hey, Steve," and "Hey," and da 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 da, and then I'd sit down and work, and we'd all talk and socialize. And I'd seen Firefly from the minute it aired on TV because it, reminded me of Han Solo, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I watched it as it bounced around. I went and I saw the movie Serenity a couple times, and then I always wanted more. Uh, and I got to know this guy Steve Fisher, and we were talking, and he's like, "Have you ever thought of making a Firefly fan film?" And I'm like, "No, but now I have,
Yeah,
and
I
I'm only
am.
do, and I will only do this if we get Joss Whedon's permission."
Yeah.
So we work on a script, and then I call, and I literally just call, and I'm like, "Hi, can I have Joss Whedon's office at Mutant Enemy?" And I get bounced around. Now, my name is Michael Jayne, but prior to being Michael Jayne, I took my wife's last name, which is Jayne. My name is Doherty. So when Michael Doherty is calling Fox, they're just putting him through because they think he's the guy that wrote Superman Returns and X-Men 2 and things like that. I didn't know this. I'm just like, oh, this is how Hollywood works. You just call and they do things.
Cool. It's
So
easy.
yeah. So I get all the way through, and I get Joss was assistant at the time. And she's like, send me an email. Joss reads all his emails on Tuesdays. He'll respond, but I can't guarantee if it'll be like in a week or 2 weeks or a month. So 2 weeks later, I got this email that I actually have Joss Whedon sign. Say Joss gives his blessing and he thinks it's cool, but he can't speak for Universal or Fox.
Sure.
So then I call Universal and I'm like, hey, I have this idea. I have Joss Whedon's blessing. And they're like, well, if Fox says it's okay. And I'm like, okay. So I call Fox and I'm like, hey, Joss has his blessing and Universal says it's okay with you. And they're like, well, if it's okay with Universal. And I'm like, this is the easiest thing. Like, I've never worked in the film industry. And here I am, like, negotiating a
You're a
contract.
mover and shaker.
I just don't accept, like, within reason, I don't accept no for an answer.
Yeah.
Like, there's appropriate times to accept no for an answer. But this is one of those things where it's like, okay, let me
Yeah.
just see how far I can push this.
Right.
Um, which is my wife's like favorite thing to say about me is like you will literally find the button and push it until it breaks. Um, so we get a deal going. The topic of the deal is like we're not allowed to talk about it. Technically, I'm not supposed to talk about the deal, but they got bought by Fox, so that deal is different. So we had 1 year to distribute the movie to make 500,000 or um, 500,000 copies or some other number. And
Okay.
we had 1 calendar year to do that. So the movie is just like Star Trek: The Next Generation. It's the same universe, same crew, set 3 months after the end of Serenity. Um, they're caught up in the events at the end of Serenity, which is like the government is trying to pin something that the crew of Firefly did on anybody for an example. And we have some amazing cameos. Adam Baldwin, who was in it, Michael Fairman, who played Niska. We have the guys that play Fanti and Mingo from Serenity. Greg Edmondson, who did the score, did one of them a score for the most emotional portion of our movie.
Wow.
Sonny Rhodes, who sang and played the theme song, is actually in the movie as like a guy in the background. So this is a 100% love letter to Firefly.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
and
awesome.
in thank you, in true to me fashion, it went way bigger than I expected, and we took over a western theme park called Frontier Town in Ocean City, Maryland. We built a full set in a warehouse of the ship, and we raised $117,000 for 5 charities over the course of a year.
That's
uh,
insane.
Thank
That's
you.
insane.
Thank you. But that also ties back to Arbor Day. So part
Right.
of the Arbor Day, the root of evil, is every time you buy a ticket to see it, or when you buy physical media,
Yeah.
um, a, you're going to be planting a tree. So like every ticket sold, every Blu-ray, every DVD, once purchased, tree is getting planted in support of the Arbor Day Foundation. And our goal is to do 1 million trees over the course of the life of this project.
Let's do it. Let's get it done.
Thank
And
you.
how can we do that? Because I know you and I were chatting offline a little bit. How do we get that done?
Yeah, so what we're looking to do right now is we just had our premiere at Smog Castle Cinemas on April 24th, which is Arbor Day.
Yeah.
We just finished our 1 week theatrical run there, which was amazing. Like the fact that we got that was huge. And now what we're looking to do is do a road show. So if you've ever seen like stuff Kevin Smith does or other people do, we want to take the movie to different states and places where people want to bring it. So if you can get a crowd of 50 people or more, or know that you have a good horror community of 50 people or more, we will bring the movie to you. We will take care of the theater. We'll set up ticketing and all of that other stuff. Um, and all you have to do is go to thearbordaymovie.com and put your email and zip code in, and we will collect all of those. And once we get enough people in a certain area, we'll announce where we're going. I can announce that our next 3 locations are going to be Maryland, Charlottesville, and Florida, but I
That's
also
amazing.
understand we might be looking at New York.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to see this movie and who doesn't want to contribute, to trees? And, there's a huge, huge horror community in New York. So, fingers crossed that it'll come to us here. We would love to see it. Yeah,
Well, maybe
definitely.
you and I can make that happen.
Maybe we can. I don't know. I have a phone and I have a lot of gumption. And I myself don't take no for an answer unless it's appropriate. Um,
Exactly.
so I guess the bigger question I have too is why I love the story about brown coats. I
Brown
love
coats.
that
Yeah.
story. I think that's amazing. And I was also looking through and I see that you have I don't have my glasses on because I'm trying to
It's
look good.
okay.
So
You
you're
look
gonna have
great.
to oh, thank you. You're gonna have to fill it in ZCon, right? So let's talk a
Yeah.
little bit about ZCon.
Oh, Zcon.
Let's
That
talk
is
for a
my
minute.
white whale.
This
That's fine.
started, I know, it started out as a proof of life concept for you here. How'd that go?
So,
I do
so
my research. I am, believe it or not, I do my research.
I believe it. So Zcon was the movie that I came up with while we're like for a year we took Browncoats Redemption anywhere. Like because of Browncoats, I spoke at South by Southwest. I spoke at San Diego Comic Con. I went to all of these places I could never imagine going.
Yeah.
But I always got sick right afterwards, like with Concred. So again, being a slightly horror fan, I'm like, well, what if Concred creates the zombie apocalypse? Um, and that's at ZCon. So the premise of ZCon were what if these, and remember, this is 2011.
Yeah.
Podcasting was not what it is today.
It was a baby.
It was a baby. So the premise was these four kids with their podcast go to the convention to try to interview their favorite celebrity.
Yeah.
And the zombie apocalypse happens or begins in the convention, and the convention gets locked down. So they become their little baby podcast becomes the only way people find out about what's going on the outside.
Wow.
Now, granted, like everything I talked about in the script in 2010, 2011 is 100% what we're doing today. But back then, nobody's like, you're doing live streaming, you're doing, yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, we initially made a Kickstarter, and the answer that we got back was like, this is great, but I can't envision what this looks like because it hadn't been done yet. So we made a proof of concept, which you can find online. And the proof of concept is really just the movie in 5 minutes. It's, you know, the premise, the setup, and showing you what you need. Then we went on to make the feature, and, you know, Big Damn Browncoats Big Damn Fan Films was the LLC, but we just called it Big Damn Films. We went on to start making the movie, and we had this person who was going to invest, and they were going to be bringing $31,000 to the picture.
It's a lot of money.
And yeah, which would have allowed us to finish, but we found out they stole it. So, which begins like a lot of craziness. So we have half a movie, and it's great, and it looks beautiful, and it was shot in 4K, so we can upscale it for now.
That's right.
But that kind of, when that ended, I spent the next couple of years, and I jokingly said my filmmaker purgatory, helping other people make their stuff while I paid everybody else back for ZCon. And I didn't feel right making something new until that was finished. And how this ties back into Arbor Day is the weekend before I had my stroke, we were actually looking at a location that was going to be perfect to finish the film.
Wow.
And we got there, and it was great, and it was a lot of energy, and like the guy's like, you know, I've had it on the market for 2 years, nobody's bid on it, I'm going to take it off the market, and then you guys can make your movie. And then 2 days after we left, he called and said somebody came in and $1 million more, and they purchased the property.
Yeah.
And the next day I had the stroke. So
well, yeah.
I've been dealing with a lot of stress besides that, so that's not the only thing.
Yeah.
But when I'd spent the previous year finding so many locations that fall through at the 11th hour, and to finish ZCon, it's going to be pretty expensive.
Yeah.
So when we were looking at like projects we could do, we were like, what can we just do from our bedroom? Like, what can we film on an iPhone? And that's where Arbor Day really started from. And then we got an amazing crew, and it's now shot in 8K, and it looks phenomenal. And Tamara Johnson, our audio mixer, it's in 5.1. So if you go see it in a theater with 5.1, or you see it at home with a 5.1 setup, like what we don't show on screen is going to happen all around you.
That's so exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the story of ZCon.
No, and you know what it is? It's so funny because like when you build a career and when you do things and when you go through life, you will have these bump moments where it's like, oh, okay, well, that didn't work out. Let's do something else. And I think that's what kind of keeps people going, right? That concept of let's do something else, you know?
Right.
So I guess the other question is, and I'm not really sure how to even answer this as a filmmaker, but where are you looking to get contributors? Like, this is an interesting concept because, again, offline we were chatting about the next and the next and the next with this great character. So,
Yeah.
what is that going to look like as we move forward in Arbor Day world?
Uh, so we have two people that are already on board. We're going to try to keep it to 5 or 6 stories every time. Um, but right now we're in the wanting to get this like, and I don't want to make it sound like marketing a movie is easy, but the hardest part is getting it in theaters.
Yeah, yeah,
Once it's on Blu-ray and DVD, we're distributing it, so like that's not going to be an issue. Like we'll get it onto streaming wherever that will take it. But really, the crux of where we're going to have the most impact for the nonprofit is having physical experiences.
yeah.
Um, so that's kind of where our focus is.
Because
Like we
that's
do
ticket sales. So it's a ticket sale, it's
100%
planetary. Ticket sale, planetary.
planetary. Have a
Right.
showing, plan a
Have a
forest.
planetary. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, a forest. Yeah, you're
Um,
right. Yeah.
so we through our theatrical run have planted now 121 trees, which by definition is a forest.
Congratulations. That's
Thank you.
congratulations. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So we want to grow a bunch of different forests, and what I say every time is like we're just growing the next forest for the
Yeah.
arborist to go into.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, how you can help, go to thearbordaymovie.com, follow us
Yeah.
on our socials. Everything
Yeah.
is the Arbor Day Movie. Um, bring it to you. And when it comes time, like we'll make an announcement if we're looking for new contributors. Um, but we want to find voices like we want to find voices we know, voices we don't know. Just like this, we had Joe Raffa, who was one of the writers and directors of the shorts, came to us through our costume designer Brooke Mulkins.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Cool.
so it's not about just working with my friends. It's also about finding like good voices.
Yeah.
Uh, so we'll probably make that announcement closer to August about where we're going next because we're
Wow.
trying to do Arbor Day 2 in 2028.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. That would be so great. And so yeah, so let's talk about that. Where can people reach out to you? I know that you have a presence on Facebook, but where is the best place to reach out and to connect?
Uh, well, you could do it two ways. If you want to focus just on Arbor Day, you can go to, like I said, anything is at the Arbor Day movie, whether it's Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. You can go to thearbordaymovie.com, which will allow you to submit your information to help us find a location. We're calling you cultivators. So you can cultivate your next forest. But if you're interested in what we're doing as a whole, because Big Damn Films has another movie coming out later this year, which is Rifters from John Johnson, who did Plan 9, you can just follow like Big Damn Films. So if
That's
you go to
great.
bigdammentertainment.com or at Big Damn Films on socials, you can't miss us.
And when that film comes out, will you come back and talk to us about that one?
I will come back and talk to you about absolutely nothing.
Oh, great. Do
We'll
it.
talk anytime you
Well,
want.
let's do it. Okay, let's be friends. No, I mean, honestly, I think it's fantastic and I think it's wonderful. And
Thank
again,
you.
it's one of those things. Now, what was the connection to get into Smodcastle? Because it's a great little theater. Like I'm a fan of that area and I'm a fan of that theater. So what was the jumping off there, or did it just make sense because it's a Jersey film?
It just made sense because it's a
Yeah,
Jersey film
yeah,
and it's a small indie film.
yeah.
You know, Kevin Smith is the godfather of 95 small indie
Yeah,
films.
he's wonderful.
He's
He's
amazing.
wonderful.
I've met him
He's
several
wonderful.
times.
Yeah,
Wonderful human being.
yeah.
But so is like here's the other part most people don't know. If you ever watch Clerks, Rick Darris from Clerks, who is played by Ernie O'Donnell, he's Smod Keeper, so he's the guy that runs the show.
I love it.
So he was there when people are checking in and they're like, "Is that Rick Darris?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
Like,
that's a
"Oh, cool."
lovely. That's lovely.
But for me, it's a Jersey story.
Yeah.
That's a Jersey filmmakers theater. He is the godfather of indie films, and this was for less than $55,000. Um, it just kind of made sense,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
and I could not give those guys the. They were amazing to work with, and when I was like, "Hey, what about a theatrical one?" They didn't even blink. They were like, "Yeah, let's do it."
That's
Um,
fantastic. Yeah, that's
yeah,
great. Yeah, and that's what I mean. That is another thing that I kind of like about the horror community too. I see that time and time again about people jumping in and wanting to help and like, how can I help? What can I do to help? And and it's really fun to share ideas and talk about things. So Again, thank you so much for joining me today. It was
Of
delightful.
course.
Yeah, so Chiller fans. So we met at Chiller and we had a blast there. So thank you to the Chiller, theater family. I hope it was a good experience for you. I know it was the first time you were there.
Yeah, so I say this because this is the same thing that happened with browncoats. I because of browncoats, I went to places I never thought I would get to go to. Because of Arbor Day, I got to go to Chiller. So one of our friends who did the photography for the movie, Kim Pakula, is one of the photographers at Chiller, and she had me reach out to Eddie, and we talked about cross promotion and bringing people down. We called it the weekend of horror. Go to Chiller and then go see our movie.
Yeah.
And then at the last minute, they're like, "Hey, we got you a table," and I was like,
Great. Wow. Yeah, they're
"Awesome."
wonderful. The Chiller
Yeah,
team's fantastic. They're
the
amazing.
chiller,
They're
I
amazing. Can't say
from the
enough good
minute that
things
I
about
went
them.
there, yeah, the minute I went there and had the experience of like community,
Yeah.
I went to Eddie is like, I want to be back for every single one.
Yeah.
Like, how do we make it happen?
Oh, please do. Please do. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Chiller was great.
Yeah.
Day one was a little rough because I was by myself, so I didn't get to see everything. But my wife came the next day,
Oh,
so
perfect.
I got to go and walk around,
Oh, perfect.
and I got a photo with Christopher Lambert, which is huge for me.
That is huge for everyone. I mean, Christopher
Yeah,
Lambert's amazing. That's
he's
fantastic.
legend.
He's a legend.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, we're looking at Chiller. Like, here's the other thing: if you're listening to this and you work for or volunteer for a horror convention, doesn't matter where it is, we want to partner with you guys. And what we're doing is like, just like we did with Chiller, make it part of your evening programming. We'll book a late show of our movie, so it's after panel hours or programming hours. You get marquee on the screen of like brought to you by Chiller or whatever. Um, and then we have this great symbiotic relationship of just giving everybody something to do at night that continues the horror vibe.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Like the horror fans are wonderful. And, it's so great because when I go there, I always like to talk to everyone. They're the vendors, the creators, the celebrities, which is always so exciting. But there's a lot of kids too. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
let's keep growing our little baby horror fans and let's keep growing them because it's such a great thing. So, Michael, thank you so much. Any last thoughts before we sign off and I get another glass of wine?
No, but thank you so much for
Yeah,
having me. I really appreciate it. This
yeah.
has been awesome.
This is so much fun. So, like I said, check out Arbor Day and you get those emails out. And New York folks, let's get together and watch a great horror film, okay? So, this is Judy from 50 Minutes of Fear. Thanks so much. Have a great night.